I see a skill set. I see someone who can jump really high.
Right.
I see somebody who has had flashes where he looks brilliant, but I can't tell you, and this is actually part of the problem with him, I still can't tell you exactly what he is or how talented he is.
Can you win without him? Yeah. Can you win with him? Sure. It's just a question of, like, what role is he playing? What role do you need him to play? And I think those two things are pretty far apart.
So all of these things are circumstantial and they're in the moment, and I don't think you can even compare them, because the bottom line, whether y'all like it or not, like, look at what the Golden State Warriors are doing and look at what they have repeatedly been telling you now for the larger part of 11 months. What are they telling you? They're telling you that for whatever reason, there are a lot of moments where they put him in the game and it's just not feeling right for everybody. And I keep trying to, like, stress, Steve Kerr is not on an island making these decisions by himself. There are meetings, there are a lot of people, there are players, everyone's being talked to about this. You got no Steph Curry and no Draymond Green in the game. JK gets benched and the Warriors win by 1,000 on the road? I don't know, what do you want to do with that?
I mean,
what do you want to do with it?
What are you supposed to do?
I mean,
the previous game, he starts and he goes 1 for 10, and like,
right,
you take him out late and you win by 5, and you won despite the fact that he did not play very well. And then the next game, you don't start, you don't play, and you win by 1,000. Like you said, you won by 32, and the game was never really in doubt. Like, they cut it to 8 a couple of times in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, and then you went out there and you absolutely motorboated Chicago, and you did all that without Steph and without Draymond and without JK. So what are you supposed to do? Like, you didn't play him, and you won by a bunch. And so, yeah, I mean, I would love to see JK play like he did the first 5 games of the year. And I'm looking here, 33 minutes, 36, 24, 31, 26, 34, the first 6 games. And he was mostly really good. He scored, he rebounded, he played the right way, he played the way they wanted him to play. And then even further than that, he still played pretty well. And then he got hurt, and he came back, and it was kind of back to last year.
Just kind of, lost it.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I've been accused of being stubborn a lot in my life. Like, I'll wear that. That's fine. Boy, some of you JK fans, you are a stubborn bunch. Like, this is... I really appreciate it, Guru, for, by the way, like, you know what I mean? Because we've sparred for months and months, if not years, on this. But Guru's like, come on, man. Like, you're kind of out of weapons today. Like, what is it you see? Like, if you're just making something up at this point, if you've decided, no, JK's a star, then everybody in the Warriors organization is dumb. I mean, really? Is that, like, every time you say something, oh, you're moving the goalposts.
Right.
Really? I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's possible that he goes somewhere and he plays well.
Sure.
And he makes an all-star team and he helps somebody go on and win. But what they've done here with him, without him, with him playing, different roles, they've won, actually, since he's been here. So this year, in the fourth quarter against Cleveland, he played 2.5 minutes. And you went out there and you were able to still win the game. You held on. He didn't play at all. And you went out and you beat Chicago by 30. So can you win without him? Yeah. Can you win with him? Sure. It's just a question of, like, what role is he playing? What role do you need him to play? And I think those two things are pretty far apart.
I wonder how people would answer this, because we got onto this conversation with all of these cool things that Pat Spencer is suddenly doing over the last 4 games. Obviously, there's a Kuminga conversation because we're back to DNPs, because what people forget about the DNPs, there's totally a misremembering thing going on. People thought he came back from injury, and then that stupid Kerr just stopped playing him. The first DNP came in the last game of the regular season.
Correct.
I was at that game.
Oh.
It was against the Los Angeles Clippers, and the Warriors were trying to stay out of the play-in tournament. And they didn't play Jonathan, and they lost in an incredible overtime battle with the Clippers. But the reason that happened, and then it happened in the play-in games as well, is because the Warriors had gotten themselves to a spot where they were like, these are the really high-leverage games, and the Jonathan Jimmy Butler thing's not working right now, so we got to put it on hold. Well, those were the highest leveraged games. This is the first time that Steve Kerr has decided on a Sunday in December with a record of what, 12-12 or whatever the hell they were?
Yep.
Like, yeah. And with no Steph and no Draymond,
right?
He's just like, yeah, we're not. That's the worst narrative so far by far.
Agreed. I mean, it's a thin bench, and yet you still would rather not play Jonathan Kuminga, and you didn't play GP2 either, and that's fine. He plays or he doesn't play. It depends on the matchup, but you chose to go with Guy a bunch, and Guy and Pat and Quentin and Will, all these other young pups, but JK is a guy who couldn't even go out there and, like, we're going to give you 6 or 8 minutes to start, and let's just see. Let's see what we have tonight with you, JK. No, he didn't get that, and then he didn't even get the kind of what Moses Moody would get last year, which is, we're getting blown out.
Some crumbs.
Yeah, come on, Moses. Get in there and get some crumbs. But which I guess it makes sense because you don't want JK to go in there and possibly get hurt if you want to trade him, but he got nothing.
We got on this conversation because we were talking about the word talent. I wonder the way so many define it about like athleticism and, as you put it, the ha-ha and all these things. Like, is there anybody on the Warriors roster who's more talented than Jonathan Kuminga? Or are there tons of people on the Warriors roster more talented than Jonathan Kuminga? I don't know. How would you answer that?
It depends on what you consider talent. Like Steph Curry has a hand-eye coordination that is maybe better than anyone in the history of humanity.
Yeah.
Like if Steph Curry grew up in England, you could see him as a dart thrower. Honestly, I mean,
wow,
I don't know if you've ever seen, like,
I could see him doing anything that's hand-eye coordination related.
I mean, if he grew up in, I don't know, Minnesota, and his dad wasn't an NBA player, he could be a pro bowler.
Sure.
He could be a golfer. He could be one of those people who's playing cornhole. He could be the best cornhole player ever.
Probably really good at that, actually.
I'm sure he's amazing at that.
Yeah.
So when you talk about talent, like Steph Curry, the baby-faced assassin, 6'3", and when he came in the league, he was just this skinny, like, baby-faced, like, oh, yeah, you can shoot. Cute. I mean, you'll never be like Kyle Korver or JJ Redick, right?
I mean, see, that's interesting the way you put it, because I think maybe I think about this backwards. To me, maybe the more talented person is the person who does more with less. Who's more talented, Steph or Shaq?
Probably, like, from a talent standpoint, Steph.
Right.
Like, Shaq had an unbelievable genetic advantage.
Completely. As does someone like, if you want to talk about on the Warriors right now, just baseline genetic advantage, Kuminga, number one.
Yeah.
Right?
Probably.
So who's more talented?
Yeah, it just depends on what you consider talent. And, it's some of the all-time greats, like LeBron and Michael Jordan, they had both. They had natural gifts combined with talent, and combined with an unbelievable drive.
And that's how you end up as the best ever.
Right. Yeah. And so if you're Pat Spencer, do you have talent? Yeah. You are an amazing lacrosse player, one of the best to ever do it. He actually won the Heisman Award for lacrosse when he was in college. So, yeah, you're very talented at what you did. And then you're also a good basketball player. So, yeah, he's very talented, but we don't look at him and see him like go up and have a follow dunk or, take off in the foul line and dunk on somebody. So we look at things differently.
The whole reason for this conversation, one, I find it kind of fascinating the way we all talk about it. But, this idea of, is Jonathan Kuminga's talent being wasted? And we talk about it a lot with the 49ers, Warriors too recently. And I think most fans are almost always frustrated with the way their team drafts, because that's just being a fan. When you're a fan, you can think of all the times that you messed up the draft. Well, listen, just the fact that teams mess up drafts, doesn't that tell you something about talent? In other words, I don't think we can see talent the way we think we can. When we look at Jonathan Kuminga, and I'm like, I see talent, and I'm like, you don't know. I see a skill set. I see someone who can jump really high.
Right.
I see somebody who has had flashes where he looks brilliant, but I can't tell you, and this is actually part of the problem with him, is that after 4.5 years, I still can't tell you exactly what he is or how talented he is. In and of itself, that's a little bit of a problem.
It can be, and I do think that it comes down to exactly what you're describing. And as you were talking, I was thinking about Fred Warner. Fred Warner, who was a safety at BYU, and he was a guy who, he played safety, and he was probably too big to be a safety, but he was not projected to be what he's become. And he comes to the Niners, and he turns into a linebacker, and now he's on his way to the Hall of Fame because of what he became, and he became that because, yes, he had talent. They all have talent. All these athletes in the bigs, in the pros, whatever, they have talent. But do you have that stuff? Like Kobe Bryant was amazing early, but Kobe went from, good little player at Lower Merion, more than that, I know, but he turned into one of the best of all time. Steph Curry is a similar example where, he's a son of a knockdown shooter, and he was a knockdown shooter, but he went from that to this because of talent, yes, but because of work ethic, dedication, and all the rest of it. And so, to your point, when you draft somebody, you don't really know like the other stuff. Like, what are you going to do? How much work are you going to put in to become that guy?